Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it very, very much. And it's always nice to be able to see some people trying to think outside the box a little bit, trying to think about what we can do to help educate our kids in this new environment. Very glad to have with us doing just that, Michael Reith, School Board President for Virtual Academy of Lafourche. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Sitting next to him, Edmund Adams, who's the School Director for the Virtual Academy of Lafourche. Glad that you're here.
Thank you.
All right. Michael, tell us a little bit about how this concept came to be and how we got to this point.
So back in around 2012, the charter schools concept came out, and then Dr. Joanne Matthews, Superintendent of Lafourche Parish Schools, decided that they needed another school option, a charter school in Lafourche Parish to help our kids. Something thinking outside the box, more of a online curriculum learning that gives our students another opportunity outside the standard school to come in, reach their full potential, earn a high school diploma. And so in 2012, we became incorporated, and then we signed our charter under Lafourche Parish School Board. And we've been in business as a school for 10 years.
10 years
Just graduated our 10th class.
Just graduated the
Yep.
10th class.
So
Really exciting.
Dr. Matthews had selected Miss Julie Bourgeois, who was retired from the school system, to come in, and she developed and created the first class. She rented spaces out of the public libraries. We borrowed classrooms out of some of the school sites.
Right.
Had about 100 kids the first year, graduated about a dozen kids, and then this past year we graduated 34.
Wow. What great growth, huh? About 3 times the size here in just 10 years. So very exciting. Tell us kind of where we are now, Edmund, and what the thoughts are and the plans are, certainly for this coming year.
Absolutely. Thank you. So as Michael said, the previous superintendent for Lafourche Higher Schools had a vision to how can we reach those students who did not want to be in our traditional brick and mortar campuses, right?
Right.
So the concept of the Virtual Learning Academy came about. It has evolved to whereas this past year we had 487 students enrolled. All right, we call it that 487 students, right? So our parents and our students are looking for an alternative to that traditional brick and mortar component. Where we are moving forward is we're currently a blended model school.
Okay.
Because what we've learned through trial and error of this is that our students do need some contact with a trained educator. All right. Our teachers we call educational consultants. Okay. Because they work with small groups of students based upon their needs, and we grow them with the programs that we use. So we have some direct instruction components to it, and we have the virtual components to it. Where we're moving to is that of more intense direct instruction for our early learners, our younger learners, with the understanding that the goal is to create independent learners as they grow and progress higher in grades. So with the understanding that as our students get to the high school age, then they become that independent learner, right? So our parents are not necessarily having to rely all the time on someone face-to-face with their student so they can do their work independently virtually, and it can be successful with it. Part of our model allows for our students also to graduate early. Right?
If they've achieved all the coursework.
Absolutely. If they achieve
at
all,
their pace, if you will,
their pace,
right? They can do it a little bit more quick.
Correct.
Yes. So we do utilize state-approved curriculum.
Sure.
All their requirements, right? So our students who have demonstrated their independence and their abilities to work ahead of schedule, they have that opportunity to graduate early. Of the class we just graduated, 8 students graduated 1 year in advance.
1 year.
Wow. So somebody who would have been typically a junior finished
Absolutely,
and graduated.
right?
Correct.
So with graduating, of course, those students also graduated with some college credits.
Okay.
So they're starting in advance. They're starting early, right, with their college careers.
Starting early
Their
twice,
work-
finish early, start early.
Absolutely.
early, yes.
So we're wanting to take that model and just grow with it,
Right.
and create a larger pool of independent learners for our communities.
It's really interesting because you basically take a portion of people and you be able to determine who needs a little bit more brick and mortar time
Absolutely.
and who doesn't.
Yes.
Correct.
You may find a 6 or 7-year-old who's been on a computer since age 2, and that's more comfortable for their type of visual learning. versus somebody who maybe, not that they're slower, but they haven't done as much computer work. Maybe they need to do that a little bit later.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that you can ebb and flow and kind of make an individualized learning plan or program and then build it around that.
Absolutely, and you're right on par with where we are and where we want to go. With, of course, our students and our parents, we want that agreement of saying, hey, Edmund's a student. He can be more independent. He has proven, demonstrated the skill sets that are needed to be more independent. Maybe Edmund or another student, Edmund needs more of that seat time with that teacher, right? That assistance. So that individualized component is what we're going to put in place for our older learners.
Well, I was afraid you were about to give an example. Edmund's faster, Michael's slower.
Well,
I was waiting for it.
It's all good.
And so just as we wrap up here, what a great concept to help individualize students. And y'all were ahead of the curve before being ahead of COVID.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it made things so much easier for you guys to just slide right into all virtual.
Yeah, when
Absolutely.
COVID hit, we went right ahead.
Smooth entrance into that. So just a few seconds left here. You guys, what are y'all anticipating? You talked about starting with around 430 last year. What are y'all anticipating for this year beginning?
So our goal is to start where we left off last year and build to that, right? So the charter was approved with a max number of students that we can have.
Okay.
We are a public school, charter school in Lafourche Parish. So we're operating under the umbrella of Lafourche Parish.
Gotcha.
And so we do have some caps there and we're close to it.
Right.
But we want to get to where we were and get to that max number of 500 students if possible.
I love it. It's a great opportunity. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing that information. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, guys, and that will do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming here on HTV.